What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Different Lens podcast. My name is Juan Felipe Sierra. I've been working in the entertainment industry for the past 13 years, and this is...
And I'm Daniel. I'm just your usual nerd. I like playing video games, watching movies, and listening to music.
All right, so what do we got for today?
So today, man, we still gonna talk a little bit about the Oscars. I kind of just wanna continue to shit on Emilia Perez. I am so sorry. If you like the film, I truly am sorry about this, but I kind of still want to talk a little bit about the Oscars, just because I just feel like there is just so much going on right now with the Oscars, specifically surrounding some of the nominations, right? Because there's just so many nominations going down right now that I'm just like, is it
worth it?
Like, do they really think that this film should win over all the other ones?
Like, the craziest thing was that it won the Golden Globes for best musical against Wicked.
Yeah,
that to me,
exactly.
It's asinine. It's just that doesn't make any sense. And I'm gonna go in a little bit of a rant, and I'm sorry, but I cannot portray everything that happened in the movie because I only watched the first 15 minutes, and those 15 minutes pissed me off so much that I had to turn it off. But I've seen enough clips of the actors and actresses singing that I'm like, no, how could this win against Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande, that they sing at the top of the game, with that and
Absolutely.
Direction and everything. So, and by the way, I watched a little bit of. Did you ever hear of John Sacre Bleu?
Sounds familiar, but I don't think so.
So John Sacre Bleu, for those of you who don't know, it's the Mexican parody of Emilia Perez.
Really?
So, somebody I forget the name of the director, so I'm gonna kind of put him right here. But she was so aggravated by Emilia Perez that she decided to make a mockery of that film by putting all the French stereotypes in one movie. Oh. So and she did the same thing that the French director did, which fuck that director for saying that Spanish is the language of commoners and peasants and poor people. What she did is that she wrote it in Spanish, she translated it poorly in French, and the movie itself, like, everybody is like has mustaches, like men and women have the French mustache. They have the mime paint, the striped shirts.
Oh my god,
that's
great.
They talk about like where does the croissant come from? They cry on baguettes and on rats. There are rats everywhere. So seeing that level of pettiness, I was like, yes. And I watched maybe like 10 minutes of it. I haven't finished it. But bro, those 10 minutes are fucking hilarious. I cannot understand what they're saying, but just the level of pettiness of dog shitting on that movie so much that they crowdfunded, and I forget how much money they made, but they made a good chunk of money just from crowdfunding from people that were so pissed off about that movie.
Because it's terrible. But is that a short film? Is it a full feature film?
So
where can everybody find it? Like, if I wanted to watch it today, or everybody, it's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
Oh, so we can leave the link down below so people can watch it. So if you're interested in watching it, and fuck everything about Emilia Perez, I'm sorry. I really, like I said, if you like it, power to you, right? Because I keep on watching parts of it, and I've seen so many memes, right? Yeah. And even Eugenio Derbez was actually in an interview talking about, right, how poorly Selena Gomez was. Yeah. And okay, listen, I
not on the acting. No. On the acting, she was really good. On the Spanish.
Yeah.
And the vocalization of the whole
and listen,
thing.
I get it. You want to take a challenge. Maybe she wanted to take a challenge as an actor. Maybe that's something that you're very interested in doing, right? Like, you're like, all right, I'm going to take on this challenge because I don't know, maybe personally for me, it's something that's going to make me feel great about it. Like, gratitude that I was able to do it. And
maybe she's feeling Mexican pride, and especially through the whole climate of what's going on. Like, she had a video recently crying and saying, hey, they're coming after us, after my family, after my people.
Now, I want to make a quick parenthesis there before. Sorry, I interrupted you. But I want to make a quick parenthesis. I do know that in the film, she's not supposed to be Mexican. In the film, I believe she's supposed to be an American that goes there.
Trying to listen. Yeah, trying to learn Spanish. That's what she also sounds
correct.
Shitty.
So exactly. So in her defense, right? Because let's not go completely unbiased here. Let's be a little biased. She's not supposed to be fully Mexican. Now, if she was being fully Mexican, that would have been
horrendous.
The accent.
Yeah,
I've she would have gotten canceled. I'm sorry, but I can kind of say, let's give her a saving grace and say she was not supposed to be fully Mexican. So I get that. But nonetheless, some of the singing and if you look at some of the memes, right? We have like some of the memes of like Shrek.
Yeah. The Prince Charming from Shrek.
Yeah, because
it's a knock on door. And the guy's like,
because she sounds exactly like that.
Yeah, like
and I'm just in just disbelief that is what we are, not
championing,
we, right? But they are.
The Academy.
The Academy's like, that was fucking great.
Yeah.
Like, that was amazing. Like, that's Oscar-worthy performance. And I'm like, how the fuck is that an Oscar-worthy performance? Like,
and
come on.
Even the people that I know that have liked some parts of the film, they still say, like, it shouldn't be Oscar-worthy. Because it's not. I'm sorry, but it's just not.
The story is.
The story.
I can see. No, I can see the story.
Even then, because the part of the movie where like you're supposed to forget that this was a fucking criminal, and even the part where one of the moms kisses the hand, saying, "Oh, you brought my son back." It's like, bitch, he was like, she was the one that put your son in that situation.
Yeah, but I still think it could be Oscar worthy, the story, because it is not new that happens. Think about it. Like,
correct.
Just let's go back. We're Colombian, right?
Yeah.
Pablo Escobar was revered in Medellin because he was giving so much to the people that used to call him like the Robin Hood there.
Right.
So it wouldn't be an uncommon story. And I think it could have been delivered, Oscar-worthy performance. Like, even if you think about the Dallas Buyers Club and you just kind of think about the script itself, you could be like, yeah. And it turned out to be a phenomenal movie with incredible performances.
Correct.
I mean, both actors won the Academy, right? They won.
No.
Jared Leto won.
But oh yes, they both did. Yeah. You're correct. You're correct.
And Matthew McConaughey also won. So I think the story could have been absolutely phenomenal, depending on how it was delivered. But the fact that it was a musical, I feel like it hurt it so much.
Correct.
And the fact that the Academy is just rooting for it so much is what I'm like, dude, if it was delivered like the Dallas Buyers Club, I would have been like, wow.
If it would have been a pure character-driven drama that like just hits on the fucking unfairness of somebody transitioning and maybe, but the whole thing is like,
but it could have. That's the thing. It could have.
But like the part where I think they fumble the ball is the fact that, you know, you're supposed to root for somebody that was a convicted criminal, that was one of the most dangerous people, and now it's like, I'm a good person now, everybody's celebrating me.
Right.
That is a part that I'm not it.
But I think that's the selling point of an Oscar movie, because it's like, it makes you have an emotions, and that's the whole point of filming, right? Like art and stuff like that. Like, give you emotions to the point where you're like, you disagree with them or you agree with them. And I feel like that could have been a film where you're like, holy shit. Like, you come out of the film and you're like, holy shit. I don't know if I was siding with her at the end or I was against her. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would have given you that emotion, in my opinion. Like, that would have been like, I don't like it because I don't agree with it. And some people would have been like, wow, you know what? People can change. And that could have been a message.
I agree that people can change. And there are many movies and shows of people that have changed for the better.
Right.
But there's also that the counterweight of it, of like, people can change. It doesn't mean that they have to, their past gets erased.
Correct. But that's what I'm saying. We're just talking about in the film itself.
Correct.
I feel like it could have been, if it would have just been pure drama, I think it could have been something like that, and
much more powerful.
It would have been very powerful, because you would come up in, as you were saying, I don't agree that people would change just because they change or the past gets erased. You know, we would have this conversation the same way, but being like, can people change, right? Like, it would have been a different conversation. It would have been like, was it like, is it okay that
is the message applying more?
Yeah. So I just feel like instead of a musical, it could have been much more. And it could have resonated even more with all the communities and all the not communities, sorry, the communities, right? Like the trans and the gay community,
the LGBTQ community.
Yeah. Everybody. I feel like it could have resonated a little bit more with it being a specific, just a drama film rather than being a musical, right? Where it's gratifying the evil turning to good just because we transition, right?
Correct.
So,
but anyways, let's just kind of finish that thought there, because we could be 4 hours just shitting on Emilia Perez. It's not fair to you guys that we keep on shitting on the movie. I don't think it's fair on some of the people that actually worked on the film giving it their all, because at the end of the day, there are a lot of other people that were involved in the film that truly gave it their all. And I got to recognize it's not easy making a movie at all. Just on the small part of the production that I have worked in, it is extremely difficult. And there's a lot of things that I think that were done well, like the cinematography, the camera work, the angles, like a lot of it, it's really well.
I did see some of that, yeah.
So, but yeah, let's kind of just leave it at that. Form your own opinions. Listen, please don't let anybody else form their opinions for you. But anyway.
But whatever it is, leave your comment down below if you want. Let us know what you think about it, and let us know why you like the film. Right? That's the whole point of it. We get to discuss things like that, and everybody's gonna have their own opinion, like you're saying. And I think it's great for us to have that.
Correct.
But in any case, now a little bit more into some of the other films that we can talk about is in the animation side of it, right? Like you know, I mentioned in the last episode a little bit about that A-lister power, right, when it comes into the animation. The film that right now, one of the films that is basically listed as one of the main ones would be the robot one.
Yeah,
I can't remember the name right now, but there is so many.
Isn't something like The Wild Robot, something like that?
Yeah. Right, which again, A-list power. We know we have Pedro Pascal. We also have Lupita Nyong'o, yeah. But then we also have other films that are really, really well made, like the snail film. Can't remember the name right now, but that was a beautiful film. If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend it. It's a really good film. It's a very sad story. Like the whole entire thing is just so sad, but it's funny. It's like finding the positives in all the negative
shit
around going, yeah, exactly, and all the negative going around you, which I think is a really beautiful film, specifically showcasing how all the shit can go wrong, but at the end of the day, you can still make it, right? Like it's beautiful. Learning.
It's a message.
Yeah, the message of it is beautiful, right? And then we have Flow, which I actually started watching, but the kitty that gets lost. It's a beautiful, beautiful animation. Yeah. I would tell you that, bro. The animation was so beautiful, but I kind of got lost a little bit on the what's happening. Things are just start happening from the get-go of the film, and then it's just like everything is just happening, and you're just like kind of like thrown into it, and you're like, oh shit, what the fuck? And you're just like, what the fuck is happening with the cat? And the cat is just like going everywhere and meowing the whole fucking film. And I liked it. It's just I don't know.
It's a bit confusing.
Yeah, I was like a little bit like, ooh, I don't know what all this. And then I was stressing because the cat is going through some shit. All the animals are going through some shit.
And you're a cat owner, so yeah.
And I love cats, right? You can see it up there. But I was stressing the whole film because of it. And but anyways, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the film and the animation in the Oscars, just because, right? I mean, there's right now the categories for the Oscars right now for the film side of it. It's just for the animation. Sorry, it's just more like best animation. That's it. There's nothing more in it. There's not like there's so much more can be developed from the categories of animation, right? Like the style of it, like Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
What a phenomenal art style they had, right? They brought some really cool art style into it.
Not only the art style, it revolutionized animation is done, because so this is gonna get a little nerdy from my end, but very technical and very So if you see, like, especially the first one. When Miles, when he just gets his powers and he's just learning how to swing on the forest, it's so regular animation is animated in fours. So in ones. So every movement, every time they move, it's a new animation. So animating in ones is every frame. It's a new drawing. Animating in twos is every two frames is a new drawing. So for example, animating on ones, it's doing this. Animating on twos is doing this. Animating in fours is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Miles was being animated on fours because he's still new, he's still inexperienced, so he looks choppy, he looks a little weird. Yeah. Peter B was animated on twos, so he looked much more fluent, much more easy. Like it just looked more adapted to it.
Right.
When Miles gets his powers and he really becomes the Spider-Man in that universe, he gets animated in twos. Even stuff like that, it's so well done that, for example, a series like Arcane, I love Arcane because of the animation that they have.
Magnificent.
Every
masterpiece.
It's a fucking beautiful. It's every
watched
frame
it,
is a painting.
Yeah, if you haven't watched it, please do yourself and
Bro,
watch.
you can stop at any point in Arcane and you can frame it on your wall.
Yeah.
It is gorgeous. The really interesting part about Arcane is that the people in the environment were 3D rendered, but the gun smoke animation and the fire animation and the lighting animation,
2D, right?
it's all by hand.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that brings new things.
Great combination.
It's a great combination, and you see different perspectives, and you see like the different shadings. So animation is so much more than just, you know, what are they able to do to look pretty. It's I think they also should reward new styles of animation and 100%. New rendering methods, and you know how they're using video game engines like Unreal Engine to actually do animations that look sometimes much better than how they do it regularly. Know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's just I feel like we should definitely have a little bit more into those categories, because again, like
especially Asian ones.
Yeah, like you're saying, it's not just simply the film, it's not the story, just the story of it, but it's also like the art style, the way that it was created, but also, I mean, the writing about it too, right? Like we have best screenplay.
Best screenplay, yeah.
Right? We have all of that. We have best actors, best supporting actors. We have so much. But what about, you know, the animation side?
Correct.
It's the same exact effort that is going there. Sometimes even more, because sometimes they're putting those resources, like everybody's working like double time, like
correct.
Like the studio's like milking the artists.
Yeah, like when we talked in the first episode that, you know, all of the resources that go into and the sacrifices that the animators have to go in order to make those films. But I would even go as far as saying like movies that are based on like anime, that are based on manga, because there's OVAs, which is its own original thing.
Correct.
But there are adaptive ones from manga. I think they should also be nominated for best adaptive screenplay.
100%.
Just like how they do with books. Manga is also a literary media. Literary media. Put it in there. Like Mugen Train, or like Heroes. No. All of My Hero movies are separate. I think the Solo Leveling is also did adapted from manga. Mugen Train is one of the best anime movies that I've ever seen, and it brought me to tears. And I have friends of mine that are voice actors, that are voice directors, that have told me like that movie broke me. Yeah, like Kyojuro Rengoku, it broke the internet for a couple of years, and there's still people that are like, you know, his sacrifice or whatever, spoiler alert, sorry, he dies, and his sacrifice saves hundreds of people in the train.
Oh yeah. So I have a friend that she named her cat Rengoku just because of it. Yeah, she's like, that scene was so amazing, and my cat is named Rengoku, and I'm like, wow. I was like, you know what, fuck you, because I thought about that name, but you beat me to it.
But yeah, like I think like movies like My Hero, and I named them not just because I've worked with in them as a voice actor, but also because I'm a huge fan of the IP. I think movies like My Hero, or like because we know that the Studio Ghibli ones do get the recognition, as they should. Studio Ghiblis are the top of the top of the top of the industry, but I also think that we should have like, you know how they have like best feature, you know, best foreign feature. I think we should also have best animation and best foreign animation.
100%. That would be a phenomenal. That would be two phenomenal categories.
Between Korean, between Korean animation, Chinese animation that is getting really, really good, and Japanese animation, it would bring a lot more eyes to the screen.
Right. I mean, listen, I think adding those two categories, right, on its own, not only would encourage so many new artists to actually push themselves to do it, we would have an influx of more animations, right? And there is a lot of animations already as it is on like YouTube. Like all of these guys are really putting, like one-man team, just putting so much time and effort and doing some incredible animations on YouTube for free. But this would encourage them to actually go at it and like even go a little bit harder, because they could get a bigger recognition. Right. Like they could actually go and like, wow, like imagine a one-person team getting nominated for an Oscar, like for animation. That would be like, wow. Like that would people would be like, oh my god, like it's doable, and that would inspire so many animators, so many artists, so many young artists too.
Don't get me wrong. There's a lot more categories that we don't know about because they don't
Sure.
broadcast them. Like for example, they have like best student film.
Correct.
So
There's 24 categories in total, I think.
I believe so. But imagine having those things that bring new artists into, like you said, like into the fold. That you could be like, bro, I'm an Oscar nominated animator and director for this short film, and like for example,
We should.
oh my god,
We should look up the 24 categories too.
we should do our jobs.
Because we're over here ranting about it, and watch it be like one of the categories already.
No, because
just like
I know they have like best animation short,
yeah,
sure, because even Kobe Bryant
yes.
won for
Yeah.
Dear Kobe or Dear Basketball or something like that, which is a gorgeous short film.
I think there was the other one, the one recently that I remember is I think it's called My Hair. I think it is. It's it's about I don't recall very well, but it is I think it's on Netflix actually. You can watch it. It's about My Hair is about African Americans, and it's kind of like following the story of these two people. I think it's they fall in love or something like that, but it has a story behind it. I may be absolutely wrong, and if I am, please cut this. But but I think there is also a short film that won. It's actually being showcased on Netflix right now, that you can watch anytime if you do have Netflix. But yeah.
There's because there
Let's go back to Kobe. Yeah.
there was an animation back in the day from a director that has already unfortunately passed away. His name was Satoshi Kon. It's called Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
It is, I believe, a minute long, or maybe a minute or 2 minutes long.
Okay.
It's literally the story of how some people feel and the different paths that they could take just before they wake up.
Yeah.
Like just before they, like, it's a story of a girl that she wakes up and then you see a different version of the girl, kind of like a spectral thing. It kind of looks weird, but she stands up and then she goes to the bathroom, and then another one that goes to the kitchen, then another one that is like, scratching her legs or whatever. And then at the end, it all comes together when she washes her face and she looks in the mirror and she says, Ohio. So now she's ready for the day. But it's such a beautiful expression of all the things that you could be doing at the same time that just culminate in, okay, now I'm ready for the day.
I may be wrong. Listen, I may be wrong about this one, but I think Bao also won something. It was a film about like this old lady. I think it was before my Hero 6. I think it was a film that like she's like making a bao bun, and she's like creating the bao bun, and it's the whole time the bao bun starts like it has its own life, right? It starts growing, and the bao bun becomes like rebellious against the mother and everything. And it turns out the bao bun was the whole time it was her son, but it was the expression of the bao bun there was expression of her son growing up, and she was seeing as a bao bun that she was creating and that she had built and she had taken care of for all her life. And I believe that one. But what I actually wanted to say about it is, okay, if that is being part of those films, right, where now Pixar and Disney are coming in, do you think that overshadows a little bit of the smaller studios? Because obviously we have a huge studio making those films, and also is being showcased in movies or like in a movie that is already being shown. So it's getting more popularity just because it's a Disney film or has been done by the studio of Disney.
Correct.
So yeah,
I think it very much overshadows them because they don't have the resources like we talked in the last episode, and B, they don't have the power and the connections that another studio might have, which is any kind of business is like that. But studios like Netflix or like Amazon Studios or anything like that should maybe invest a little bit in short films.
Yeah.
Or YouTube, even YouTube. I think YouTube would have the best possible options because YouTube already has YouTube Shorts, and you have YouTube this, and you have short YouTube videos. Showcase, Google, invest in new properties, not just, YouTubers, but invest in animation channels that maybe they make one video so good that it could go into the Oscars category or golden, or I don't know if they have Golden Globes or whatever, but other oh my God, galardones, other
awards.
Thank you.
Ceremonies.
Awards. Yeah. Sorry, I thought in Spanish. But yeah, I think that those studios should invest because they've already invested a lot in new talent when it comes to movies and on camera actors, which is fantastic. It brought a whole new perspective, like Korean films, like Squid Games and all that. But anyways,
well, yeah, actually, I think Netflix did do a few short films that are directed by Wes Anderson, where I believe one of them has Benedict Cumberbatch as one guy that is like asleep and he has like a snake on him. And he wakes up and he's like, there's this whole ordeal because he has like a snake in the bed and he's like trying not to move. Okay. And actually, there is another one where Ralph Fiennes is there too. Ray Fiennes. He's there and it's like something about like he's like a mice hunter or something like that. Those are really good, but again, those are not. They're short films.
But they're not new talents.
Not animated, not new talents. And obviously they have a big director with big names, like A-listers behind them. I think they should invest a little bit more in that. Netflix is already doing those things, right? And is allowing the platform. Wow.
Bury the platform.
A platypus.
Bury the platypus.
Bury the platypus. the having the Jesus.
Sorry. That just took me off. Okay, sorry.
Having the platform, right, is providing a platform for these artists to come up and do things like this, right? Yep. I think it should allow more short films being done by not necessarily, big names, big studios, big directors, but maybe I'm a little bit incorrect. Maybe there is a lot more of it because Netflix has actually been really, really good to those international films, international artists. So maybe they're kind of there already, and I'm just saying this, and it's starting to be more often that we see those short films. But definitely, I think Netflix is one of the biggest ones on that. Obviously, there's other not studios, but there's other streaming services that bring light to some of these films, kind of like we talked a little bit about on the other episode about some international films that are not necessarily on Netflix, but are on other streaming audio services like Tubi and maybe something else, right? But I think it's great. Nonetheless, are you excited for any specific film, right? Animated film coming into the theater? I know you've seen some of the My Hero Academia ones.
I mean, I'm always excited about the My Hero ones. A little self plug.
Wait, why are you excited about My Hero?
Because I'm fucking in them, motherfuckers. In Spanish. I want to be in an English one, but I'm in Spanish.
He plays that character right there.
This motherfucker. No.
Demon Slayer.
Infinity.
No, it's not.
Infinity Castle.
Infinity Castle. Yeah,
bro. It tickles my balls, bro. It is so fucking good, and I don't know if you watch it sub. I watch it dub.
Dub is great.
The dub is fantastic.
Amazing.
And you know what? I think LA and California in general has been getting the better projects as of late because they have Demon Slayer. They have Solo Leveling. They have Jujutsu Kaisen. They have...
Jujutsu Kaisen 0? Wow. Amazing.
They have Sakamoto Days. They have Delicious in Dungeon. They have Dandadan. So
yeah, they have the biggest anime,
the biggest ones right now. Which it's a whole different conversation, but we can talk about them
we'll get to that.
in a future episode. But
trips. You said trips. A few trips.
In a future episode.
Oh
my god!
I am deaf.
You deaf?
I am deaf.
The Infinity Castle, I'm definitely excited for.
I am looking forward to that. If you haven't seen it, I'm about to spoil something for you, and I am so sorry. But the way that the last part of the episode was filmed, like the whole explosion was done so incredibly. Like they mixed CGI with the animation style, but it was so good. That explosion, bro, I felt that explosion.
Not only that, when they're all running towards Mutsan Kibutsuchi and Guillaume is like, no, stop! He has more than one brain. What?
Yeah, that. If you haven't seen it, please do yourself a favor and watch that. It's a phenomenal. Demon Slayer is great. Even my mom is watching it. I know I always like bring up like my mom and my dad or something. It's because they watch random shit. I don't know what to say, but like he knows my parents. My parents are always onto some random shit. It's like you call my dad and it's like my dad is like, yeah, I'm watching like I don't know, like a Chinese movie about like I don't know, god or something. And you're like, what? What? Or my mom is like, yeah, I'm watching, a French geisha, and you're like, what the fuck? Is that real? But like they're watching like all this random ass shit.
But it's amazing that they're willing to take a chance, because not most everybody doesn't do that.
Yeah, just context. My mom is over 60 years old, and she's watching Demon Slayer, and she loves Demon Slayer. So let's say we go to the movie to watch the movie, I'm sure we can take my mom, and she'll be like, absolutely,
yeah.
And it's funny, but. Yeah, that's the whole point. Like it's something that everybody can watch, and it's great. It has the stories.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Now, the thing with new animation, and this is going a little bit off of anime, because there have been anime movies that have been voiced by really well talented actors. I believe Alison Brie has done one. In The Boy and the Heron, it was Robert Pattinson, it was Willem Dafoe, it was Dave Bautista, Christian Bale, all of these high, super high voice actors. Yeah. Not high as in high, but high as in status. Can you imagine the voice actor like, bro, this shit is tight.
That's something Seth Rogen would do. What's his laugh?
No, yeah, Seth, I for a second I thought you said
no, Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen.
Yeah, that, bro.
That fucking terrible ass laugh.
If you watch those movies, you just know you're going for that specific thing. You're always gonna hear that.
But anyways, I wanted to ask you, because I'm very passionate about this, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it first. Do you think that we should let A-listers and what are called star talents be the main characters for all these animated movies, like Shrek, like Mario, like Sonic, like all of these?
No.
Why not?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
And then the reason why I understand is there's a lot of star power, right? Absolutely. You cast Chris Pratt to play Mario, and automatically you stir the pot. People are gonna be like, yeah. People are gonna be like, no. And some people watch the movie and they're like, fuck, I love the movie. Mm-hmm. Like, it was actually a really fun movie. Mm-hmm. And actually, I think it was actually good. Jack Black as
Bowser.
Bowser was really good. But I just feel like by doing that, you are taking away from so many more really talented people that could be doing this. Like, there's so many talented voice actors internationally as well, right? But if you just go into the A-listers, then more studios are going to be like, I'm going to go to an A-lister because I know it's probably going to sell. Right? Like, if you just have a big name in it, people are probably going to watch it just because you have an A-lister. That's how I feel.
I have a very similar feeling towards that. It's like, if it's a new IP, if it's something that nobody knows what it is, like Shrek, like How to Train Your Dragon, like Kung Fu Panda, like all of the, like Toy Story, like all of those movies that you have they're new IPs, nobody knows what they are, nobody knows who's gonna be in them. Yeah, you can have a star talent. Why? Because it's gonna bring new eyes to it, and it's gonna bring new perspectives on it.
Right.
But not every character should be a star talent. Maybe you can have the main 3 or the main 4. That should be perfectly fine. But every supporting character could be a voice actor, a really well-known voice actor.
Right.
The only voice actor that I've seen that has gotten the recognition that she deserves is Tara Strong when she did Loki. Correct. She did like the little clock thing, the Miss Time, I think it's called, whatever.
Okay.
That's Tara Strong, and she got a lot of publicity from it, and I think it's fucking phenomenal.
Right.
Now I think they should start doing more with other voice actors.
Correct.
Now I also think that if they're already established IPs like Mario, like Sonic, like all of that, give other actors, give the voice actors the time of the day. Like, Roger Craig Smith has been doing Sonic for the past decade or 12 years or something like that. Let him be on screen.
Yeah, but they went with somebody else.
Yeah, with something Schwartzman, John Schwartzman,
whatever. I can't remember his name, but they did go with someone else.
Yeah.
And the Sonic movies actually did really well.
Yeah.
Right? They may not have been like phenomenal movies, like top of the tier, but they still were fun movies to watch.
And they were great movies.
And they got Keanu Reeves right now for
for Shadow.
Yeah. But you like you're saying, I think that if we already have some characters that have been played for so long by some voice actors, let them continue to shine in the bigger screen, right? They've been shining in game, maybe like the Sonic games, or like maybe a small
And the little
animated
shows that
film
they've
or something.
yeah,
But
Nickelodeon
let
or
them
whatever.
keep on shining. It's like throwing a SpongeBob movie and taking all the original cast and being like SpongeBob being replaced by like, I don't know, Leonardo DiCaprio, and you're like,
What?
Why?
Yeah, I mean they've had 3 SpongeBob movies.
Right, yeah.
And they've been with the original cast, but I'm saying like
that's what
to
I'm saying,
that
like,
degree. Yeah.
It's like removing somebody that has been playing that character for so long, or giving the opportunity for that voice actor to continue to have that exposure.
Correct.
And then just bring in, just because a big name is going to sell maybe faster, and then you're just, again,
Yeah, it's a surefire hit. Now, there are very few there are very few on-screen actors that I also think they're fucking phenomenal voice actors.
sure.
The only person that I'm not mad that they keep getting consistent voice acting work is J.K. Simmons.
He's phenomenal.
He has had so much work done.
Wait. Sorry. Just on that. What about Mark Hamill?
Mark
Controversial
Hamill.
one.
No, of course, but I believe Mark Hamill is more known now for the Joker and maybe Lord Ozai and Skips than Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker will always be top tier, but this is what happened. He went from Luke Skywalker immediately to voice acting, and he didn't do anything on camera for a long while.
Yeah, he hasn't actually. He still hasn't been. I think the last time he was it for?
I believe for the Flash.
Yeah, he was there somewhere.
Yeah, and for the Star Wars movies, but he went from that to voice acting. So
Okay.
I think
Right.
that he is more of a voice actor now than
true.
Luke Skywalker. He'll always be Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, but
no
true.
matter what.
But more people now probably know him just as a voice actor, right? If they never watched Star Wars, they probably know him more as the Joker or
Correct.
like as a voice actor. Yeah, you're right. J.K. Simmons, he's
J.K. Simmons is in both,
Both.
and I think he's fantastic in both. He's just, but I believe because he's such a well-rounded thespian that he is able to do both seamlessly. Like his work in
Whiplash.
not only Whiplash but also Kung Fu Panda.
Oh well, yeah. Voice acting. Sorry.
Yeah, Invincible, Avatar: The Legend of Korra, like all of the and even Legend like Avatar when he played Tenzin, he threw me on my ass because I have never seen such a delicate and such a delicate, caring, soft teacher character played by J.K. Simmons. And I thought J.K. Simmons, because that's the only thing that I saw from him, were very aggressive in your face because he's very macho and he has a fucking booming, fantastic, manly voice.
Yeah.
So for him to play such a, no, hey, I want to teach you. I want to make you feel better. I want to, I was like, holy shit. That to me cemented that he is a top tier actor no matter what he's in.
Correct.
So I think that, actors that have been doing this for so long, like, Steve Bloom or, Troy Baker or Laura Bailey, Ashley Johnson, she's well known for a lot of things on screen. But, somebody like, even like really like obscure anime actors that I think they're doing fantastic work right now, like Rico Fajardo or, people that are consistently being doing great for so many years. Give them the time of day to shine in the spotlight. Now for the past couple of years, Crunchyroll has been doing like their own red carpet when they have a big film specifically for like, the big IPs like My Hero, like Demon Slayer, stuff like that. And I think it's great because it gives them the I don't want to say the laurels of the, oh my God, the stardom and all the fucking shit. But I think it's also recognizing their talent.
Exactly. It is a recognition nonetheless. It's still being recognized, right? They're still getting their recognition somewhere or another, rather than just going completely unannounced or completely just, without anything. At least it's still giving them something where I think it's phenomenal that they do that. But for example, from the perspective of a voice actor, right? How would you feel losing to a great cast that you've been wanting to get to an A-lister? Would you think that would affect you in a way that you're like, you know what, I really feel let down for that? Or you feel like, okay, well, it was Robert Pattinson or something like that, and you're like, or you're just like, yeah, I can see it.
That actually happens more in Spanish than in English. Why? Because if you have like for example, Carlos II, that he's one of the best, for those of you who speak Spanish. He is Piccolo from Dragon Ball Z, and he's Woody in Toy Story, he's one of those actors that he has lost castings for A-listers. And he said it, like Mario Castañeda has said it as well,
Right.
that they do the whole work, they do the audition, they do the whole thing, and then it's like, oh, we're going to go with Eugenio Derbez, which he's also a really good voice actor, but he's like, he's the go-to for a lot of things. But even like, I spoke with Corey Walgren.
Mm-hmm.
She is the grandma in Danadan.
Okay.
Not Turbo Granny, but
the actual grandma.
The one with the bat. I spoke with her at a convention, and we kind of had like a one-on-one. And I asked her like, hey, what's something that you feel that it should be changed? And she said just because somebody is an A-lister, to give them the opportunities that other voice actors don't have.
But how would you personally feel, since you're a voice actor, right? This is something that we're establishing.
That's happened to me already.
So
that's
okay.
happened.
So how does that make you feel? Because again, we don't see that as from the other side of the screen, right? We watch the films, we watch the series, we watch everything. We don't know much about the backstory of it or like the behind the scenes. So we don't get to see this whole. And sorry to say it like this, but it's like the drama behind it, right? Like we don't see this. We just see the film and we're like, that was a great film, and I'm glad that they chose this actor, but we don't know how much it is going behind the scenes. So that's why, kind of going a little bit on the personal side, it's how has that made you feel losing those roles?
I mean, okay, so this is something that I've kind of put into perspective a lot when it comes to casting, and it's once I make a casting, I completely forget about it. Why? Because if I get too hung up on, oh my God, I hope I get it, if I don't get it, I'm going to be so fucking disappointed.
Right.
That's happened to me in the past. I used to do that until an acting coach was like, dude, forget about it. You don't own it. It's not assured that you're going to get it, so forget about it.
Correct, yeah.
And do something different after you do castings. So either like go to dinner or talk to a friend or, go to the gym. Like just forget about the castings. Now, yes, it hurts. I don't want to say that it doesn't. It sucks. I don't like it, but just because I don't like it, I'm not going to be like, but what the fuck, bro?
Right.
Just as how there are on-screen actors that have gone into not only movies, but also games like Kevin Spacey, like Mads Mikkelsen, stuff like that. I also think that to the voice actors, if you want to, because maybe they don't want to, like for example, I know a lot of voice actors that I'm like, I don't want to be on screen. Fuck that shit. I like my privacy. And I'm like, that's a very valid reason.
100%.
But I think also other voice actors, kind of like Ashley Johnson. Ashley Johnson is both Ellie in The Last of Us, but she was also the main love interest for Captain America in the Avengers that they cut. Or like, Nolan North. Nolan North he is a lot of characters. He's Deadpool. In many video games, he is Nathan Drake. He is David from The Last of Us. He is also now on screen on a drama. And he was also in Pretty Little Liars, and he's been actually, before he became a voice actor, he was in a medical drama for years. So I think also other voice actors should maybe step up on camera. The problem is, and this is where the two worlds need to, I don't know if be a little bit more seamless, but let's say, you're working on a project like, I don't know, let's say I'm the main voice actor for Tanjiro from Demon Slayer, and I'm doing it, and I'm recording or something like One Piece.
Yeah.
That you have to be there week after week after week after week. And now imagine that it's like, oh, I have to be out of the country for 2-3 weeks, but we have the budget and we have the deadline and we have to do this and we have to get it by this day. If not, we're going to lose the contract or we're going to have to fire you. And this is something that if you don't know, because I'm just learning about this too, for reshoots or for new voice lines for video games, you have to make the time because you are contractually obligated to make the time. And if they tell you it needs to be before Tuesday, you have to figure it out. And now imagine if you're doing a movie in the middle of the Congo,
across the sea or something. Yeah.
Imagine that there's no booths, that there's no audio studio, that there's nothing. How are you gonna do it? Correct. I understand that there's also a lot of logistical aspects that they maybe wouldn't work, but I don't know. I would love for more voice actors to step on screen. Like, for example, this is a pitch that I've had, and I'm gonna say this out loud because I don't think it's gonna happen. And if it does, you have the evidence that it was here first. I've had an idea for an Uncharted movie for years.
Right.
I'm deviating a little bit from everything, but so the story is as thus. Have you played all the Uncharted games? So you remember in the third one how we see the backstory of Nathan Drake as a kid, that he was in Colombia?
Yes.
So imagine...
Pretty fun.
Right.
Yeah,
imagine another character who is... Because Nathan Drake fought against a battalion in Cartagena. In Cartagena? No, Cartagena. So imagine a kid, also a Colombian kid, being like, oh, I want to learn more about this. And from the games, you were like, oh my God, this Sir Francis Drake was this great explorer. And from the Colombian side, he is called Francis the Pirate because he raided and he destroyed and whatever. So imagine having that perspective of a kid being like, I want to learn more about this. But the astrolabe is gone and the ring is gone. Who do I find it? And then he starts becoming like basically like a Colombian Nathan Drake.
Okay.
And then he has to actually look for Nathan Drake to be like, yo, you stole something from my country. You stole something from my culture. What the fuck is wrong with you? You know, and having to, but actually having Nolan North as Nathan Drake and him now embodying that role of like a Sully to this new kid. So now they both have to find more information and more stuff while they're getting chased. But Nathan Drake the whole time being, Nolan North the whole time being Nathan Drake on screen. Not just as a cameo as they did in the fucking Uncharted movie, which was horrendous. But now I believe that could be a good and cool option because we've even seen Nathan Drake as an older person in the games. So imagine that Nathan Drake having to be pulled back because, you know, now their life is in danger or something like that.
Yeah, because he's been wanting to get away from that life.
Correct.
And then he gets pulled again
back in, but not because he was pulled back in, because somebody actually pulled him in. Like, yo, these motherfuckers know that I'm meeting with you. Now your life is in danger. Now you have to help me out. How fucking cool would that?
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
And Troy Baker could play Sam.
Yeah.
Sam. Mm-hmm. Sam Drake.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be a phenomenal idea. If somebody wants to make it happen.
Please,
sounds like
cast
really
me
cool.
in. Please cast me. I want to be in it.
As the mango seller.
Like, way. I throw a mango and like, fuck you.
Fucking hits
Nathan
Troy
Drake,
Baker or something. And you're like, oh shit.
Anyway.
But yeah, I mean, I do definitely think that more of these actors should be given that opportunity to also be on screen, because again, we always ask, right, from the other side, right, like we're like going to this side of the table where we are the ones, the consumers, right? Mm-hmm. We are the people that enjoy the games, to watch the games, that watch the series, the movies and everything. We don't get to see that backside of this story. Mm-hmm. We don't know how much it truly is going, unless we do the research, of course, right? Mm-hmm. And we'd start finding out a little bit of drama behind it, but we don't get to see that. But I'm a person that really appreciates when like a dub is done the right way, like a voice actor is like going all the way out in a movie. Yeah. And then you get to see like maybe like a live action, and the character sounds nothing like it, and you're just like, but why?
Yeah.
Like, okay, just to give you a quick example, right? Until Dawn is gonna have a movie, right? I watched the trailer and it looks completely different than the movie, right? It has the whole situation where like
the butterfly effect.
The butterfly effect and how it goes, but it's kind of like one of those movies that like something happens and after midnight it resets, and I'm just like,
oh, kind of like a live that repeat kind of stuff.
And I'm just like
Edge of Tomorrow,
and I'm just like, okay, but that's not how the game was.
Right.
The game is butterfly effect. It already had some A-listers, right? It had some good actors.
All of
Rami
them are
Malek.
A-listers.
I mean, it had really good
Rami
actors.
Malek. It had Peter Stormare.
It had some great actors, but none of them are coming back for this, right? Mm-hmm. We have completely new cast, and then now it's like a date that repeats itself from what I watched in the trailer. Mm-hmm. And then I'm just like, Until Dawn was so good because it was so different at the moment that it came out, right? Just because of the fact that it was like, you know, you make the choice. and then you have to hold the controller still. You remember that? I don't think you played.
Yeah, I played a little bit, especially because another fucking friend decided to be fucking hilarious to put me in the part where like you have to, where it says like don't move and or don't breathe or whatever.
You hold
like,
the controller,
and you see the little. And you're like, oh my god, I almost shit myself.
Yeah, because you're supposed to like not move or something. And like the one that goes like right in front of you, and you're just like,
and their face are like, and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I loved it because it was making you make choices for the game, right? And I think there was a really cool story. But then the fact that it's changing so much right now for the movie, I was like, I don't know. And then on top of that, it's something that a lot of people held very fondly because it was like a very good scary movie game.
Like at the time, it was the fact that it was the butterfly effect on a horror game because Mass Effect had already come out years ago, and they also had the butterfly effect in their systems. But and I believe a few Telltale games had come out with that too. So it was more of like on the horror side.
Yeah, and maybe there's other games that had it already. Don't get me wrong, but just saying the fact that it's going into the movie theater, right, as a big budget film. Right. By Sony, and then we are missing pretty much all.
Which, don't get me wrong, I don't mind new cast of characters,
right?
But keep some elements. Like, for example, when I was talking about with a few friends about like what we thought when The Last of Us was announced that it was going to be a show, there was a show being made. I sincerely hoped that they wouldn't gonna do Joel and Ellie. I was hoping with all my heart they wouldn't do it. You know who I thought they were going to do it? As the two black brothers.
Kind of like their story?
Their story, because we know what happened with Ellie and Joel. Yeah. We know what happens throughout the whole game. I didn't want them to touch it, but imagine that story. Or there's even some story behind... You know that there's a level that kind of looks like a school? That they're kind of like in kind of like catacombs or like the underside. Yeah. If you find all of the notes, you see how one of the kids got infected and he started doing that, and then a teacher had to sacrifice himself in order to kind of kill the kid, but he gets infected too, and he starts killing the kids. And another teacher is the one, and I believe the teacher was like the other teacher. They were like the lovers or whatever.
Yeah.
Imagine those kind of stories.
I mean, I get it, but you should know that too. I mean, it's a story that like leads into a dead end, opposing to, but we talked about this, the money, right? So of course, Ellie continues. Of course. Ellie's story continues. Correct. We're in Last of Us 2, right? And the second season is about to come out. Yeah. We're in season 2, but Ellie's still alive. Yeah, correct. And there is another third installment that is going to come out. Yeah. And most likely it's going to follow Ellie. A little bit of Ellie again. So that leads into another season. So, I understand, but we know like the Black Brothers, I forgot their names. But, at the end, we lead to a dead end. That's it. We don't.
But I prefer, like, for example, Edge Runners, Cyberpunk Edge Runners. It leads to a dead end. For the main character,
right? No, yeah, but
like that to me would be such an amazing fucking season because it would you would love to. Sorry, I burped again, and my fucking mind reset it. Stop it. Sorry, I belched. Oh my god, this kid is losing it. So. I imagine having a whole season until my fucking god.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. It was just a.
it was basic, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
We're losing our minds.
It's sweaty.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Let's reset. Okay. Oh my god.
Fuck, bro. I'm sorry. It's just because I have the headphones, so I hear like. Yeah, so I'm like, okay. Go ahead.
I'm probably gonna leave this in because this is really funny.
Mm-hmm. I'm fucking crying.
Yeah. So, imagine having a whole season of that until. They. My God.
I'm fucking sweating, dude. I'm sorry, bro. It's just,
Oh my God.
goddamn.
Yeah, you weren't expecting that one, did you?
No, dude, that's fucking caught me by surprise. And again, it's just if you leave this in the headphone, it just sounded like, but like it just sounded like, it sounded like you fucking threw up in your mouth. Just like, it's like shit.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. Ooh, fuck. Okay, I'm good.
Uh,
Oh, God.
okay. But yeah, so imagine having that. Fuck. Oh shit.
Okay, go.
So imagine having a whole season until it leads to a dead end. Kind of like, wasn't like Fear the Walking Dead kind of having something like that? Where it kind of like at the end of the season, it just ended with one character and it continued with another character. So imagine that. Imagine like, it would be like Tales from The Last of Us, where they could have a season with the two brothers, and when they go in and they get infected, and now that they have The Last of Us, they could have kind of like Tales from Walking Dead or whatever, like Tales of The Last of Us, which they could tie in when they go into the building, they see Joel and Ellie, and they get killed or whatever, and we'll tell the story.
I feel like the disappointment that comes from like the audience watching, and not everybody would agree with this, is when it's called the same exact name, and you're going expecting something similar, right?
Yeah.
Like when you say The Last of Us, and then it'd be a completely different story. I get it's The Last of Us and everything like that, but a lot of people probably go into it watching and expecting like to see Ellie and Joel.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
a lot of people just go into watching expecting that. Like when you say Until Dawn, and then you don't see any of the characters, and the whole movie looks, it's a scary movie, right? And it looks like it has a big budget because some of the scenes are great, but it just changes so much of it.
Right, but it could have the same aspects of it, like the Wendigos and and maybe like a house, a remote house, and the curse, and maybe the same psychiatrist.
No, it does have some of that.
Okay, yeah.
I think the psychiatrist on the trailer, he's playing like a bartender, so he's there, but he's like playing a bartender. So he's like kind of like doing like a cameo. I don't think he's shown as the
actual psychiatrist.
Yeah,
Peter Stormare. Yeah, he's a
correct.
fucking great actor.
So he's there, but he's kind of like a cameo. But I don't know, like I said, from a perspective of a audience, right? When we look at something that has like a name of something that we've been wanting to watch, right? And then
Sorry. No, I lost it. I'm sorry.
it's just, I feel like, and maybe some people could agree with me, maybe they disagree with me, but it's just a little bit disappointing when you're expecting to see the name of it, and then you're just like, okay, fuck, like they're gonna make The Last of Us, and you're just like, so much people were so emotionally invested. You finished the game like 6 times,
Four
four times.
Yeah.
Imagine people like that are so attached to the characters, and then they say The Last of Us is coming, and then it's like a whole different story. Some part of you is like, oh, it's not about them, which some people are okay with it. Some other people are like, I was expecting to see on the big screen Joel and Ellie again.
But hear me out. What is the episode from The Last of Us that everybody talks about?
I mean, aside from the one, Jesus, I forgot their names now.
It's Bill.
Bill. Yeah.
Everybody talks about the Bill episode.
Correct.
Because it was a self-contained narrative. It deviates a lot from the actual game.
It does.
But imagine that whole Bill episode, which is one of the most gorgeous and fucking phenomenal things put on ever on television.
Right, but we wouldn't have, hadn't it been the story being told like that. Like the fact that the story is being told and they did it differently within the story, I feel like that's one of the reasons why people were like, wow, like I would like to see a whole season of that. Like, you know, people were just so invested into it, but it came from seeing it and then the change
in
from
one
it
episode. Okay.
Instead of completely changing the whole thing, and you're just like, I didn't ask for that. Right? There's a lot of people that would be like, I didn't ask for that change. Right? You get what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people would be like, I didn't ask for that change. I wanted to see it again.
It's a risk. It's definitely a risk.
They took a risk, and you're like, okay, I now would like to see a whole season of that. Like, how did they get there? How did they survive? Because they summarized it on that episode, but a lot of people were genuinely invested, and they're like, maybe more stories like that would be great. Now you can make it. But if you just make it from the get-go and put the name of it, and it's completely a different story, people will be like, I didn't ask for that story. It was completely shit. And that taints the image that you have from that game, right? And then Sure, but a story like that could have some of those original actors, voice actors, being showcased as different new characters, like a new story, right? That follows new characters, and then you have the real, like the original voice actors being part of that. That'd be great. But if you put the name of it and people go expecting that, it's like,
okay, yeah, I feel.
You understand?
I feel. Yeah, no, I feel. I feel.
Anything that you do and put the same name, but it's a completely different story, I think that's what it taints a little bit of that original image, and people would just be like, ugh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I get you.
You know what I'm saying?
I get you. I get you.
I mean, at least personally, don't know how you guys feel, but personally, that's kind of how I feel, and especially when I see something that I'm like, okay, I'm expecting. It's like, okay, how about this? I'll give you another example. The Joker went with Joaquin Phoenix. You went into they announced the Joker, they were gonna make a Joker movie, and my first thought was the Killing Joke. I was like, oh fuck, they're gonna make a movie about the Killing Joke? Shit, like I'm down for that. And then the movie was completely different. It was a masterpiece.
Yeah, correct.
But you get what I'm saying? Like you think the Joker and the movie is like a little bit different, and you're just like, ooh. But it was a risk. It was a good risk.
Right, and that's the thing. Like it depends how it's written. We know of atrocious movies that have tried to do that, like the Resident Evil movies that they have nothing to do with the actual Resident Evil games.
Garbage.
So
sorry if you like them, but I don't. I personally thought that they're not good.
I try not to denominate things in art as garbage because it has a lot of intent in it.
But it's just.
But yeah, no, I didn't like them either.
Yeah,
but
let's use a less stronger word. I disagreed with the direction.
Yeah, like, so I do believe that we could have different stories.
Yeah.
And different stories within that universe. Because, okay, now we did Joel and Ellie, and we're going to continue doing Joel and Ellie. Imagine now that they have a second season, a second series that does follow self-contained stories. Maybe, like, have you seen the show, I know this is a completely different like genre and everything, Modern Love?
No.
Each episode of Modern Love has nothing to do with anything.
Isn't that what the one on Netflix does? Black Mirror?
Black Mirror. Yeah. That's a better comparison. Like Black Mirror, Tales from The Last of Us. And each episode is something completely different. So you could have the school teacher that is trying to defend the kids. That
will be amazing. All those little notes that you find through the story,
Correct.
There are a story in its own. It could be an episode, and that's only
Correct.
one episode. I think that would be phenomenal.
Yeah, there's one that it's a story from one brother writing to the other brother, because one brother was, I believe, in the Fireflies, and the other one was just kind of like chilling, doing his own thing. Or maybe he was a smuggler, I don't remember. But imagine that story of the guy that is writing the notes that you find throughout the game, and you find the fucking pendant, and it's like, dude, now I see it. Now I fucking like, yes.
Right, but you see, you could be like that, Tales of The Last of Us, and then it's all those little notes. I think people would absolutely go into it, watching it. It's like they're not expecting an Ellie and Joel. Maybe the Ellie and Joel could be like a snippet on some. Like, you just kind of see a little bit, and then you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah, like maybe an interaction or a scene like they did in that Bill episode. That is, they just had like, I believe 1 or 2 scenes with Joel and Ellie, with Joel.
Yeah.
And then they kind of forgot. Which, I'm sorry, going back a little bit to The Last of Us. What did you think of the zombies?
I mean, the story about like the everything being connected,
No. So you know how when they're about to kill Tess, the zombies kind of like,
had
the little, that fucking made my skin crawl when he was about to like kiss her, and you see the little tentacles. That is disgusting.
I mean, part of me was just expecting it to just like jump on her and just grab her from the neck and then just completely. But I did like the little touch. It was different. I like that they added a little bit of a different touch of like the fungi coming out from the mouth. I actually did enjoy that.
I love the first scene of the whole show. I love the fact that it's a subversion, because everybody thinks that it starts with Joel, and I love how the first scene of the whole series is the guy being like, yeah, you know, this cordyceps fungus, back in the 70s, but what if the Earth gets warmer, and what if the cordyceps have to adapt, and what if now they attack humans? How is that gonna look like? Because they were saying, it's not gonna survive in our temperatures. Like, yeah, but what if the climate gets warmer? And it's like, holy shit, that is another great way that they could incorporate that into actual living organisms that actually exist.
Yeah.
Into the story. So I thought that was fucking brilliant.
Yeah. So I agree with that, and I think we can see more of that, and I definitely would love that. But I mean, in any case,
yeah,
obviously we know that, but I kind of wanted to go now that since we already kind of talked a little bit about the games, is how do you feel personally about like seeing so many A-listers now in games? Like Hideo Kojima has been hiring a lot of A-listers to play the characters, right? Like, you know, we see Mads Mikkelsen, right? I think
this French lady, I forget her name, from
her
Mission
name.
Impossible.
Not Florence Pugh. Jesus Christ.
Because even Conan O'Brien was in Death Stranding.
They've been in there, right? So we have some A-listers in there, but they're starting to show their face more and more and more.
Kevin Spacey.
And not only show their face, but they've been also casted as the voice actors in it, right? Also, how do you feel about that? Like, do you feel like that's going to affect the possibilities of the already established voice actors to be kind of slowly being replaced by the A-listers?
No. Their budgets, it's not, the budget is not going to be high enough for them to do that. Because imagine every single actor being an A-list actor for a game. It's not going to be feasible. Because even imagine, so they have, what, maybe 3 or 4 A-listers in Death Stranding? Because it was Matt Mikkelsen, the French girl.
They have quite a lot, actually. They have,
let's say maybe it's 6.
The guy from The Walking Dead. Jesus, I forgot his name.
Yeah.
Guillermo del Toro doesn't say anything, but he's there.
No, he's there. Guillermo del Toro says a lot.
But he is not his voice. It's somebody else's
okay.
Like, his likeness is there, but somebody else is playing. His lines, somebody else is saying his lines.
Got it.
But they have quite a few more. I believe the mom, it's also an actress, like on the first one. And then there's a few more characters in there that are all...
Right, but now imagine
Hollywood
every single character being that way.
I mean,
it's not feasible.
Hideo Kojima has a big budget, right? He's been established for so long, so he has a big budget.
Correct. Now, imagine, being like, Cat Simulator with, somebody like an A-lister trying to play cat.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson as the kitty. The kid is like, meow.
Meow. That's fucking roided as meow. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
You never lose in the game. You just punch fuck motherfuckers in the face. Okay.
The cat is listening. He's like,
yeah, he does a fucking people's elbow and the Stone Cold Stunner.
Imagine a wrestling game of cats. That would be funny. That would be so funny to watch. Like a wrestling game, and it's like cats wrestling, and like they come up like Rey Mysterio with like the mask.
You know what would be the best part about all of that?
Undertaker.
If they have like really janky ragdoll effects.
Oh my god, yes. Imagine you drop the cat out of like the ring, and the cat just like falls. Like, or like gets tangled in the web. Is like on the cord. Is just like having a seizure.
Or like you start hitting the cat, and the cat's like, yeah. The animations in the eye, like the eye, how sometimes the eye pops up. Yeah, that would be fucking great. Please, somebody make that.
The Undertaker being a cat too. Oh my god.
Yeah, being that
hilarious.
Cat. Being that cat, like that, the color cat. Anyways, yeah, I highly doubt that it's gonna be any. It's not feasible. It's like
monetary wise,
and people are gonna get tired because it's gonna be like, why?
But I feel like that's also the point of it. Like, people just keep on getting these A-listers, and people are like, oh man, like, because they, like, again, coming from a consumer side, right? You maybe say, oh yeah, people are gonna get tired, maybe because you're in the media, stuff like that. But a lot of people will make, they will make that connection because I already know them. I already know Chris Pratt. I already know, I don't know, let's say whoever it is, Tom Hardy. Right? I already know them. And if they come in and now I see them in the game, it's like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? Like, from a consumer point, somebody that has never, like, that is not so much into like that, looking and doing the research. It's like, oh, you already know that actor, so I think it could be a great game. You know how some people are like, because it has that person, it's gonna be a great movie. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but here's the thing. I think it's gonna take away from the experience of the game because you're gonna be focusing so much on who's saying it rather than what they're saying.
But I feel like that could be a thing, though.
What?
Like having like an actor, because again, what I'm trying to say is, if you see that actor, right? A lot of people, not necessarily everybody, but a lot of people are like, I see that person and I'm like, automatically it's like, oh, that's probably going to be a great film because it has that actor. You get what I'm saying? Like a lot of people do that. I feel like a lot of people will still do that. Not everybody, but I feel like a lot of people would.
I don't know. Again, I might be biased because I'm in the industry, but I highly doubt that would happen. And they're not gonna take anybody else's job because at the end of the day, nobody owns that. So
think about it like this. Think about it like this. We see a game and we see Troy Baker is gonna play a character. You're already excited to see what he's gonna play. You're already excited to see what character he's going to play now. Just because you know Troy Baker. You know all the games that he's been. And you're just like, I kind of want to see what he's going to play. You get what I'm trying to say? I feel like it could be something similar because you're just like excited that it has a big name. And you're just like, you know what? I kind of want to see what the game is going to be. Like it already is going to draw some people just because of that. Again, from a personal, like voice acting, you see Troy Baker and you're like, oh shit, Troy Baker's in a new project. I want to see what it is. Right? Every time you're just like, I want to see what Troy Baker's going to do next. I want to see what whoever it is going to do next. Do you get what I'm trying to say? That's what I'm referring to.
Yeah, it could definitely happen. But again, I don't think that it would be for every character.
No, but yeah, I mean, but then it would take away from, let's say, all the lead characters. Let's say you're going to go and cast for a lead character and they're like, sorry, man, we're going to get, somebody else. And then when the game comes out, you're like realize it was like Timothée Chalamet or something like that, and you're just like, oh, wow, I could have done a really good job, but why not me? Yeah,
I mean, that always happens with everything. Like, but again, I highly doubt that would happen because again, not only conflict like scheduling conflicts, but also I don't think because I believe that they would have to get a pay cut, especially because a lot of actors now ask for royalties and like. For voice actors, you don't really have royalties when it comes to games.
Right, okay.
So they would be having a significant pay cut.
A lot of actors, just to pay the bills, they take whatever role.
Correct.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Kevin Hart.
Playing the same role every single movie.
Kevin Hart, Dwayne The Rock Johnson played the exact same character. That's why I love Dave Bautista.
Yes.
100%. Dave Bautista has gone so out of the way to not be the same butch character that he was in every single thing, and I tremendously admire him for that.
Yeah, I even think admirable. I even think John Cena's exploring a lot more his range.
Correct.
Like he's exploring the range. Sure, he's playing he's a humongous guy, so obviously he's gonna be trying to like be thrown into a stereotype. But I feel like he's been exploring a little bit more like that. The range,
right? And he's fucking hilarious as Peacemaker.
And in Peacemaker, he has a few scenes where he's very exploring the range of the dramatic side of it, which is phenomenal. Now, what do you feel like? Okay, so since we've been talking about that, what about the voice actors that we already seen in the movie reprising some of the roles when they say, "Let's just throw a really big curveball," which we all know he wants to play it. Kratos. God of War. Chris Judge coming out as he's been saying that he would love to even play him in the live action because I think Amazon is going to make a series about God of War, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if it's a series or a movie, but what about things like that?
I hope that they can reprise the roles. I truly do. But again, imagine if they're trying to do the same story from the first game, the kid's not going to be able to reprise his role. Or if they're trying to do like now a continuation of the games, either the kid's not going to be in it because from the second game they kind of like shoo off the kid. Yeah. I would love to see Freya because the actress in and of itself, she's gorgeous, and I think she could have the look of it, even though she has like bright blue eyes, but I think she could totally pull it off. Now, who would be the villain? Because I think now in the third God of War games, I think if I'm not mistaken, I saw an article that they're gonna go that some things were leaked that they're gonna go to Egypt.
Correct.
So I don't know if they want to explore Egypt or they want to explore the Norse games, or they're trying to what are they trying to explore?
Right. Or what if they go back to the beginning and kind of retell the story once again, so people who haven't played the games kind of understand who Kratos is and how did Kratos become Kratos? Yeah, which I wouldn't be completely against that because it will be.
I think Christopher Judge is too old to do that.
No, yeah, not necessarily for the reprising of the role, but like the story itself. It would be cool to kind of have a little bit of that backstory of how Kratos became Kratos, and it's like it opened the door for so many people who have never seen it and understand why Kratos is so overpowered.
You know what I think would be a great thing if they do a story in between of the Greek saga and the Norse saga, where you see Kratos actually transitioning from one to the other. I hope that he does, and I know a lot of actors are not gonna reprise their roles if they bring it to the main screen. We've already seen it with Sonic and with Mario and with all of the shits. But I would love to, dude. I would fucking love to, man. Now, that's one of the beauties of voice acting is that I don't have to look like a 70-year-old to play a 70-year-old.
Correct.
I don't have to look 15 to play a 15-year-old. So that's why I know that there's a lot of actors that are physically not able to reprise their roles.
Yeah, and
but those who could, I think they should.
Yeah, and I think that one of the topics that I would love to continue to go on to, especially for future episodes, and most likely for the next episode, one of the topics that I really want to touch on is where we see the industry going, right? Excuse me, with now the incorporation of AI, right? Because it is a huge topic, especially because not only is affecting everything that we're doing in movies, right? Because as you all know, ChatGPT and now there's like DeepSeek and everything like that. We can write a script, and I was actually showing my dad not long ago. I was like, "Listen, this is the biggest issue, right? You literally can type something, and ChatGPT can literally write it to you
seconds.
In like a second, man. It's ridiculous." And like, for example, I showed my dad. It was like 2 people get stranded on like an ice mountain, and they have a cat. And he literally wrote a script, and he gave a name to each of the characters, and even everything, and like how they should feel the emotions, without context. It's just 2 people stranded on the mountain with a cat, and he literally wrote a whole entire script, a short film. I think it would.
I think that's
crazy.
I think it's scary, not only from the acting side, but also from the person side, because right now AI is taking over everything.
Yeah,
and it's scary to me. And we can talk about it in the next episode. But I think that there needs to be more protection against AI for artists.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like we do need to fully do a deep dive into it, because it is going to affect everything, right? And in the gaming industry, it has already been there for a while. AI has already been there for a very long time. And now it's even to the point where like coding has become even easier, right? Because you literally run a code into a program, and it writes you a whole entire code. Like you want it to do X or Y thing, you just literally write it, and the system writes you a code where you just had to kind of like oversee it, and that's it. That's gonna programmers, right, for these type of things are gonna start losing, like being decreased.
Right.
So I definitely think that that's something that we need to touch on, where the industry is going with AI and voice acting, because there's a lot of programs for that too. So I definitely think that that's something we really got to touch on.
All right. That's going to be in the next episode. Where can they find you on socials, brother?
Dan Valder and Instagram, and that's about it. What about you?
I am in most platforms as Juanfe Sierra or Juanfe Sierra Cortez.
So we'll see you in the next episode. Stay tuned. Please leave a comment below on any of your thoughts that you have. Please like and subscribe to the video, and we'll see you on Mondays every time we release our episodes.